Behind bars, there are two sets of rules: the prison protocol and the convict code.
Quit looking around, boy, before you get your ass skin up.
To survive one code, you may have to break the other.
You in the chain gang. You either gonna do hard time or you gonna do smooth time.
For 1 year, National Geographic followed the lives of inmates and correctional officers in the state of Georgia. When a paramilitary system is up against convicted felons, who's really in charge?
To the hole where you will stay.
This is a year.
No excuses, sir.
Locked in. Welcome to Hays State Prison, your new home for a year, a decade, or the rest of your life. It's a world of hard-won respect and sometimes violent retribution. To survive here, you have to make a choice. How will you do your time?
You give in, you're gonna become a target.
The last view an inmate gets to see of the world outside prison is usually on the bus. Today, Stephen Crane and 18 other inmates are being transferred to one of the hardest facilities in the state of Georgia, Hays State Prison. For all of them, it is another proving ground.
Come to the door one at a time.
I'm definitely anxious to get where I'm going and see what it's like. You need to be expected for anything when you get there, you know? I mean, it's just, you don't really know what to anticipate.
Let me know that you're here so I can verify if you're black or white.
Every camp you go to, you'll have to prove yourself.
Stephen Crane.
Here. When a situation comes up and, you know, if it comes time for you to have to take a stand for yourself, you have to show that you don't have fear to do that.
Step on the footprints, face this way.
You're going to be tested. Might not be daily, might not be weekly, but you will be tested.
It's not just inmates who will have to prove themselves as they learn the ropes in a new facility. It is officers, too. Elgin Tracy is a new jack, a corrections officer, level 1, starting his first day on the job at Hays.
You know, back that way, you know, that's my home, that's my house. This way is their house. I'm going into their neck of the woods now, so you sort of got to get your mind right. I got to start thinking like an inmate. I got to bring my guard up, you know.
At 23 years old, Tracy is already a war veteran from Iraq. But this will be a new kind of frontline.
I always feel like something's about to happen, and it's weird. It's like the air's getting sucked out of the place because there's so much tension in that place.
Tracy and Crane are entering a place where the tests will come daily. And right at this moment, the tensions are especially high.
First, I want to start off by welcoming the new officers to the shift today. Over the last day or so, we've had several incidents to happen, specifically Thursday, when there was an assault on staff down in D1 on several staff members.
The day before was what officers call a bad day at the office. It happened in Cell House D1. During a routine count, inmates ambushed an officer and knocked him unconscious. A melee ensued, and another officer was attacked as other inmates joined in. It was over in less than a minute, and although no one knows for sure why it happened, there are already rumors. The officers had been too hard on the inmates. This was revenge. It's a bitter reminder that the system's efforts to control violence at Hays can make its officers targets.
So by and large, we live to fight and work another day.
You just got to be ready to react to it. If you get scared and piss your pants or something, you're going to be in a whole lot of trouble because they're going to eat you alive. They're going to beat the crap out of you.
Inmates, though, see it differently. Those officers needed to be taught a lesson. Everyone does, sooner or later. Hays State Prison is a place where tough lessons get taught every day. It is part of learning the ropes, part of setting the hierarchies of the world here. In the past year, there have been almost 80 assaults between inmates. 3 involved a weapon. It is one of the toughest prisons in Georgia to do your time. A place the inmates still call the chain gang.
People do get killed in here and raped in here and robbed in here, and so, no, that's not fake in the movies.
Look at the mountains around you, and it's all beautiful and all that, and then you got Hays State Prison. This is hell.
You in the chain gang. You either gonna do hard time or you gonna do smooth time.
Stay behind the yellow line at all times.
Stephen Crane will soon have to learn his way through here and face the hurdles that come with entering a new prison.
The process just starts all over anywhere you go, you know? I mean, it's just it's a part of transferring.
It is the latest chapter in a life that turned on a single day.
First time in prison. Definitely was not part of a plan.
While driving down Highway 316 in Dacula, Georgia, Crane caught a glimpse of a familiar car in his rearview mirror. A high-speed chase ensued that ended here. Crane claims he and the victim were players in a drug deal gone wrong, that the victim had tried to rob him once. This would be the end to a week of escalating threats.
I had a gun. It was legally registered and everything like that. He chased me down in traffic and blocked me in, and I shot him through the window.
Crane fired once at close range, killing the man. For his crime, he received a 15-year sentence for voluntary manslaughter. Now, almost 5 years into his time, Crane has landed at Hayes.
Crane!
His first tier, though, is still a ways off. In the overcrowded prison, Crane will spend his first weeks in isolation, waiting for a bed to open up in general population. It's more time to contemplate what lies ahead, but one step closer to getting a contact visit with his family for the first time since getting locked up.
It's been 4.5 years since I've had a real contact visit with my family. I'm just really looking forward to getting a hold of my dad and letting him know where I'm at, trying to set up visitation. That's the number one thing to me right now, is getting that set up. I mean, that means everything to me right now.
Elgin Tracy, by contrast, gets thrown right into the middle of a tier in the first hours of his job. He gets an assignment in Cell House C. With the officer beating still fresh in everyone's mind, all eyes are on the new Jack.
You can feel it. Inmates are watching us right now. They watch us from day one. You know, how we walk, how we talk, how we present ourselves. That's why I hold my head high. I don't look down when I walk. I'm sure of myself. I walk proud, you know.
It's day one of a career that can be an endless routine. 9 counts each shift, checking inmates in and out of the dorm. And at Hayes, at least 3 shakedowns per day.
Onions, and a bunch of toothpaste, and a razor blade.
This right here, we call it fishing line.
String, it ain't nothing but a blanket. Make more of it.
It is an often tedious grind and can create a false sense of security. Tracy's nearest help is in command, 3 locked doors away.
Just gotta make sure you really stay on your toes, and you've gotta watch everything that you do and make sure you don't screw it up, because the screw up here is actually pretty dangerous. There ain't no delete button on this. You screw up here, this whole state knows.
I got a job to do up here, and if you do your job, they're gonna hate you, but they're gonna respect you, so I'm not gonna let things slide.
The officers, they're not ready for what's gonna happen. They're not ready. They only told a certain amount to a certain degree in training when they're cadets. To being told something and living and experiencing it is totally different.
You have to stand your ground, and once you stand your ground, 90% of the time they'll back down. If they don't, take them to the ground and cuff them up, take them to the hole.
You brand new, you straight out the military 2-3 years, you don't know nothing, you're still young, and you come in here and play hard. No, come in and be yourself. You'll get more. You give respect, you're gonna get it. You don't give it, don't expect it to come back to you. You can expect to get the worst end of it. You're gonna pay for everything you say and do. That's life, that's a part of life.
I got a temper. That's my tragic flaw, is I'm always the first one to throw the first punch, you know? I feel like I always have to stand up and be a man. Well, in a prison, you can't do that. If you show them that you're gonna be strong, they respect you, they leave you alone. And you get mad and you turn around and tell them to shut the hell up, they'll keep doing it and doing it and doing it and doing it until you snap. And when you snap, they win. You lose. Keep walking. It's all mental.
Prison is all about tests. Daily challenges that may seem slight, but build your reputation. Whether you're a new officer, a hardened convict, or becoming a man behind bars.
We have 2 birthdays today. One is a fellow born way back, 1990. Rodriguez Dukes.
Well, I've been locked up 2.5 years. August will be my 3rd year. I turned 16 at Augusta Regional Youth Detention Center. I turned 17 at Alberta's Correctional Training Center.
Thank y'all, thank you. 18 now. 18.
I'm a year older, and I'm considered grown, and I'm not considered as a juvenile no more. I'm considered as an adult now.
His best chance to make it in here may be to learn from someone else who did. For Rodriguez Dukes, that person is Stacy Gardner.
Birthdays are worst days. Birthdays. I'm 36. I done celebrated 10 of them.
Gardner and Dukes are cellies, the old convict and the new kid. It's a chance for Dukes to learn the ropes from someone who's seen and done it all.
5 spoons of Kool-Aid. And 2 spoons of coffee. And a Coca-Cola. Happy birthday, Duke.
Appreciate it, homie. It make me feel, a little lightheaded a little bit.
Oh, please.
Get me a little wild. I get a little wild when I be drinking it.
The homemade brew is a rite of passage of sorts for Dukes, but it's a pale stand-in for the life he left behind on the streets.
Everything to me was like a cartoon. Was funny. I ain't believe in nothing.
Dukes' path to prison started at an early age. By 14, he was already experimenting with drugs and skipping school. At 15, he was taking ecstasy. And in a single weekend, he committed 4 drug-fueled armed robberies, holding each of his victims at gunpoint. Facing a life sentence, Dukes took a plea. He got 20 years with no chance of parole. He will be 35 years old when he gets out, a year younger than Stacy Gardner, his new mentor.
I hate to see a dude been locked up since he was 15 and turned 18 in prison, and forced to be a man when he ain't really a man. He can't really function like a man in this environment around grown men, doubling some triple his age.
Gardner used to be a lot like Dukes. Now, he just wants to do right and stay focused on what matters.
I just take those same qualities that I was applying and use them for what's righteous, what's good, what's true. And I try to lead, by example. People always watching me, always watching everybody. That's just our nation. They see me doing something right. Yeah, they want to do something right. They see me being positive, they want to be positive. So if I influence them to do negative, I can influence them to do positive and be positive and be somebody. And to get out this place, that should be everybody's goal, man, to get the hell out of here. Even if it is a remote chance of getting out of here, it should be everybody fight to get out of here. Until you take your last breath. Fight to get out of here any way you can.
But before you can get out, you have to learn to live here. And those lessons can be hard.
Where we at this morning?
Every weekday morning at Hayes, Deputy Warden Cedric Taylor sets out for inspection.
From a security standpoint, I am the person who's in charge.
It is a daily ritual in Georgia's prisons, a cornerstone of the paramilitary system. 9 a.m. to 5 p.m., Monday to Friday. Collars must be buttoned, shirts tucked in, floors buffed and clean.
You can't let the inmates run the prison. If it's one cell that you don't make sure that it's up to standard, the next day is 10. And then from there, it's a whole dormitory.
It is a chance for Deputy Warden Taylor to take the temperature at Hayes and to remind the inmates who's in charge.
The fact that the warden is coming around, that someone is going to be coming to look at your business and see what you're doing, right or wrong. And anytime I see anything that is out of place, out of order, that's an opportunity for me to go in, shake down, look, and see what's going on. Hold on a second.
Inmates who fail to keep the standards are locked in isolation by the CERT team.
Is there anything in your pockets that's going to cut my option? I ain't know that was in there to tell me.
You be straight up. You lay the expectations out there, and it's up to those inmates, whoever it may be, to make a decision to fall in line with the instruction that we've given, or you can do the remainder of your time in segregation.
Despite Taylor's best efforts, maintaining the peace at Hayes can be tenuous. With a hardened population, fights and stabbings can happen at any time.
You do have predators, just like in civilian life, that look to do harm or look to take from you or, whatever it may be. Those guys here, they're here.
Hayes State Prison is like the jail within the prison system. High-security inmates and those that buck the rigid structure of Georgia's rules end up here. 1 in 5 here are serving life, more than half of those charged with murder. It's a tough environment to learn the ropes. Sometimes, though, the system tries to intervene. Gardner and Dukes are cellmates by design. The prison put them together in the hopes that Gardner can show him a better way to do his time.
Since I've been his roommate, since I moved in with him, he done taught me a lot of stuff that I need to know. The average prisoner wouldn't tell another person who just coming in a hardcore prison like this everything he need to know to make it. So that was a blessing.
For Gardner, it's hard-won wisdom.
And I ain't never worked out in my life till I come here.
On a summer night in 1998, a man was gunned down in the parking lot of a Savannah sports bar. Gardner was fingered as the shooter. He fled the state soon after, but police tracked him down. Gardner's history of crime resulted in 49 charges and a life sentence.
I was a thug. I used to pride myself on being a thug, man. That was the goal I set for myself. I'm gonna be the best thug or gangster I could be. And I got all the repercussions in the so-called benefits of being a thug. You know, the women, cars, you know, toting guns, shooting people. I used to get a kick out of that stuff. And it can consume you, as you see it's done me.
It's the life Dukes once wanted for himself. Now behind bars, Gardner sees two options for the young inmate. Whether to let prison make you worse or make you better.
My name is Rodriguez Dukes. I'm 18 years old. I'm from Augusta, Georgia, and I'm currently locked up for 4 counts of armed robbery.
Twice a week, he and Gardner talk to teenagers headed down the wrong path.
All I seen was my way. My way was the only way, and my way got me 20 years.
It is a sort of scared straight program for the teens, but also a time for Gardner to show Dukes a little tough love.
Tell them about you, how you survived.
Basically, this is my mentor, my roommate.
Nah, I ain't not your mentor. I point you in the right direction.
And you give me guidance. You give me the tools. You give me the tools to survive.
But I'm not gonna always be here. You know, I might be gone one day. You know, so I'm just trying to get you right. You know, so you can fend for yourself, man. I can take care of me, but you can't take care of yourself, man. You know, and that's why I do what I do. And I just try to shock him up, you know, shake his head up a little bit to see that you ain't gonna get out, dog, if you don't try to do something about it. If he don't get it now, man, he'll be like some of these other guys, 30, 40, 50, 60 years old, still acting like 15 years old.
When he gets out, at age 35, Dukes will only have a 9th grade education, unless he completes his GED while at Hayes. Gardner knows school is Dukes' best chance to make a life for himself when he gets out. But Dukes, who pulled fire alarms and sold pot in the halls of his middle school, is struggling to focus now. Prison is full of dangerous distractions, gambling, drugs, and sexual predation.
I have a daughter his age and a son, and I messed my life up, in a sense. And for me to come in contact with somebody, you know, his age on a daily basis, you know, it just really feel like I'm giving back, you know, to society or something by helping him out. And I look at him like I'm looking at my son or something.
Yes, sir.
Stephen Crane is still in the hole, living with a mixture of hope and fear.
I got it.
Hope that he gets a contact visit with his parents for the first time in over 4 years.
Shoot, I'm in the hole.
Fear that the jailhouse rumors about Hayes might be true.
I mean, yeah, I know. It's the hole. What it is they don't have enough bed space opened up, so they're just waiting for bed space to open up. I'll be here for a week or 2 weeks, and then they're gonna put me in general population, yeah. They say there's 2 rough dorms, you know, but, you know, my buddy had told me some crazy stories the night before. He was up here a year ago and said it was real bad. Some crazy stories, you know. Some dude tried to do him. He had to stick him. But that was a year ago, you know. You got different people saying different things. I mean, it's just gonna be what you make of it, you know. I mean, if you're looking for trouble, you can get it. All right, Pop, I love you. I'll see you Sunday. Don't worry about it. It's all right. Don't worry about that. Promise. All right, Pop? All right, I love you.
Hayes Special Management Unit, a place few inmates want to go. It's the hole, the greatest level of control the prison can exert. Inmates here are on lockdown 23 hours a day. It can be used as punishment, as segregation, or simply as a holding cell in an overcrowded prison. Here, time is your enemy. You get only 2 books and few privileges. In your cell, your only contact with other inmates is by a thread. It's called fishing. Sending out a line made of old shirts or torn sheets, weighted by an object. It is a way to pass a cigarette or note from one cell to the other. Above all, it is a reminder that someone else is out there, beyond your cell walls.
It's boring. It's definitely boring. This is drag time.
Stephen Crane has had 1 week here. 1 week to ponder the thoughts that run through every prisoner's mind, how they got here.
I'm here because, in my case, because I was in a fearful situation for my life and I had to stand up for myself. And I ended up taking a guy's life in that situation. That's always in the back of your mind that could repeat itself, even in prison system. You know, you could be trying to defend yourself and you could end up taking it to that level again.
But not defending yourself in prison can have dire consequences.
Prison's bad enough, but this is like the prison within a prison. You lock somebody up and they're already locked up.
Adrian English is in the hole too, this time for his own protection.
I got beat up on a small yard, C2. It was about a basketball game. Some dudes were yelling at me the whole game, talking about if we lose the game, if I miss one more shot, he's gonna fire off on me. I missed the last shot.
It's an almost meaningless incident, except that English has a history.
There's always going to be things about me that draw attention to me, you know. I've had people spit in my face. I've had people slap me. I've been stabbed. I've been jumped. I've had stuff stolen from me. Pretty much anything and everything that can happen to a person in here, you know. I've probably been through it.
English's nightmare in prison began with his crime, one involving his own child.
I had a beautiful baby boy, 3 months old. I was going around making phone calls, and I was waiting for somebody to call me back, and I was playing with my son, and I accidentally dropped him. And when I did, he landed on the back of his head. We had hardwood floors in the house, so he fractured his skull in the back when he landed, and he went into a seizure.
When the police arrived, they saw a very different story. English already had 2 warrants for battery on his record, and the evidence suggested that English had shaken and beaten his son.
They arrested me for aggravated battery and cruelty to children, and then when they pulled the plug on my son's life, they upgraded the charges to malice murder, cruelty to children, aggravated assault, aggravated battery, and then they stuck on 3 more counts of felony murder with each of those charges.
Facing the possibility of a capital murder trial, he took a plea and is serving a 20-year sentence. But in prison, crimes against children are the most despised.
Even though I didn't do those things that they said I did, you know, it's still a crime involving a child. And then you got a lot of people around here who just don't like things like that, you know. I've had people call me free pick, hypocrite, sissy, child killer. One guy calls me the professor. Another guy calls me XP, which is short for Christmas package.
The names seem like something out of high school, but in prison, each one is a label. A brand that opened English up for the worst kind of attacks. It began simply over a CD player.
It was involving gangsters, gangbangers. You know, a person was supposed to be a, OG Crip. And I had something he wanted. There was a CD player I had, and he saw the CD player, and he used to come and listen to it all the time.
The CD player was stolen. And when the gang member got put in the hole, Adrian English acquired another dangerous label.
And so all of a sudden, I've got my name being dragged through the mud, people thinking I'm a snitch. And that is the worst label to have in prison. You will get killed for being a snitch. I've seen it happen.
English wasn't killed, but he says something else happened. Something he refers to simply as it.
So they moved me to the cell of another inmate, and he knew what was going on. Push came to shove, worse came to worse. I fought, and I fought, and there's only so much fighting you gotta do, but in the end it wasn't enough, and the man knocked me out, and when I came to, it was pretty much over and done with, The first 24 hours are always the worst, because you're in shock, you're numb. You think about what happened, why it happened. You try to justify it, you try to rationalize it. You blame yourself, you think that there's something wrong with yourself. They always talk about it happening to women out there. They don't really like talking about it happening to men because, we're supposed to be macho. We have a line that just can't be crossed. And that line was crossed with me,
Rape is the secret in prison few will talk about. And although the prison launched an investigation, there was not enough evidence to support the charges.
In some ways, it's made me bitter. In some ways, it's made me more cynical. In some ways, it's made me angrier. It's definitely wounded and scarred me.
Whether it happened or not, Adrian English put himself in a kind of psychological isolation. He hopes this retreat will keep him out of harm's way at Hayes. But in prison, there is no escape. For Stephen Crane, the waiting game is over.
You got everything, right?
Yeah. He's getting out of the hole and entering the general population.
It's a good day. Going next door to H2.
Crane's dorm assignment is H2, a cell house right on the fringe of the special management unit.
Here, you definitely got guys who are going to be here, for a long time, if not forever. So this is kind of like their home. They take it serious.
From the moment he sets foot in H2, Crane begins establishing his reputation. The challenge ahead is to figure out who will be an ally and who represents a threat.
Anybody who doesn't worry about their own safety is real ignorant, You can't just never give in. You give in, you're going to become a target. The only other alternative is you'd be labeled as a free pick, you'd be labeled weak. And that's going to be even worse for you.
Crane's approach has helped him survive 4.5 years, the time of his journey from arrest to conviction to incarceration. During that time, his family visits have been through a partition, until today.
Man, I'm excited.
Crane?
You got any jewelry here?
No.
I need your ID card?
My pass right there.
All right, win.
Been a long time.
How y'all doing? You don't realize, man, the things that you take for granted until you don't have them things no more. At least I know for me in my life, that's what I did. Like this little simple things, like just being able to give your family, your parents, your girlfriend, or anything a hug like that. When you don't have it, that's when you really realize how important that is to you.
Don't laugh. You don't ever get on the computer, do you?
No. Let me give you a hug before we go.
Sonny boy.
Good to see you, Papa. Definitely a lot longer than we've got to have in a long time, huh?
Yeah.
I think that's the best hug I've ever had in my life.
For Crane, his parents have been a source of strength and a moral compass. Stacy Gardner tried to be that guide for Rodriguez Dukes, but found he was losing the battle for Dukes' soul. Now he's fed up and moving out.
I requested the move. It's just frustrating for me to be in here. And I'm kind of tired of it. Dukes is hard here. He won't listen. But I understand he's young, impressionable. Think he knows everything.
Slick things I was doing, he always seen them, and then I lie to him, and that'll make him mad. Just said, tell me the truth. Now you still lie to him.
Dukes has mandates in his mind that, this is how you got to be in the chain gang. You got to fight. You got to do this to fit in. And, you got to get them out of your head, man. And you're going to always be in the hole. You're going to always be in isolation. And you're going to always be in fights. You're going to always have problems. It may get rough on him.
For the moment, Dukes is taking on another first in his young life. Working a job. What would otherwise be an achievement represents a major slide. A job in the kitchen is taking the place of his GED program. He was kicked out for disruptive behavior. Dukes is now on his own and slipping fast. For Crane, though, getting a job and getting a routine is a good thing. 7 days a week, he helps clean the dorms in H2.
I like to stay busy. I can come over here at night if I'm bored and, start doing something. Kind of like how I occupy my mind, and that way I'm not thinking myself crazy. I got in my routine, I do my work. At night, I work out. Really, when you're doing time, it's no way to do time, but it's how you have to do time.
Crane's strategy has been to lay low and stay out of trouble. But in a world full of felons, you can never know who will cross your path. Or for Crane, make a threat. It came in the form of a note, what inmates call a kite. It ended up in the hands of Sergeant Danny Pierce, a member of Hayes' emergency response team.
The inmate that wrote this letter here starts out, now I've been in this dorm for a while. I need for you to move Stephen Crane up out of this dorm because he killed my cousin. The only reason I haven't put the tool in the man is because of my people. Whenever they put tool and stuff in a letter like that, they're talking about a shank or a weapon, that they were gonna stab him.
It's a threat against Crane's life. The note was unsigned, and although Pierce could find no family link to Crane's victim at Hayes, the threat was taken seriously enough that Crane was offered protective custody. He declined. It's a signal to everyone that Crane will not back down. But will the threat become real?
And that's just the dealings, especially in a closed security camp. You know, I mean, you can't be afraid of all those type of things. When the time comes, you got to do what you got to do.
Hayes State Prison, Special Management Unit, the SMU, home to Adrian English. English has faced his test at Hayes and landed in isolation for his own protection. With nothing but time, he pours his private thoughts into comics, both personal and fanciful, creating a record of his experience in prison.
I draw, I write, that peace of mind to sit there and be able to be calm when the whole world's going to hell around you, because a lot of times that's what it is in the dorms. You know, yes, I'm afraid, and no, I'm not afraid to fight back. The reason I would say that I'm afraid is because I'm afraid of, being hurt worse. I don't feel safe in this environment. Prison, by the definition of what it is, it can't be safe. Because if prison was safe, then we wouldn't need to be here. I look at it like this. The worst thing that could have ever happened to me was to watch my son go through what he went through and then him end up in a grave somewhere. After that, everything else is small potatoes, Sure, I've been raped twice. Sure, I've been stabbed 3 times, but my son's dead,
English has an uncertain road ahead of him. He may get out of the SMU, only to go right back in. There may be no right answer for how to best serve his time, or how to protect him here at Hayes. For now, he's just writing, drawing, and waiting. Rodriguez Dukes has faced a test of his own. His response landed him in the hole. Just 2 days after Gardner moved out of C1, Dukes failed to follow an officer's instructions after falling asleep at his kitchen job. It's a decision that has made it clear. To the prison, Dukes is on his way to hard time and becoming a convict.
Once the separation took place from Dukes and Gardner, Dukes has basically did a downward spiral. I mean, he doesn't dress the same. He's trying to fit in with the gangbanger, becoming more and more negative every day. It's up to that individual to make the decision to stand on his own 2 feet. And the one thing that Dukes is proving right now is that he can't stand on his own 2 feet.
Just 2 months ago, I was doing good. And started acting up, started hanging out the wrong people, and just that fast I slipped, just that quick. Wind up in the kitchen, got put out of school. Everything started going downhill. Now I'm back here, I'm just thinking, well, what do I want to go to when I get out? The different environment, how I'm gonna have to change the things I was doing, the way I was acting, all that. The different type of people I'm gonna be around, and just the whole atmosphere.
Dukes will sit here and wait, thinking about his future at Hayes. A future he will be facing alone. Good behavior and towing the line paid off for Stacy Gardner. He secured a transfer to a facility in Macon, Georgia, closer to his family in Savannah. He leaves only with the accumulated goods of being a respected inmate. In a world without hard currency, cakes, cookies, shampoo, and lotion represent financial security.
That's collateral. In case hard times hit, I can always sell some of it, trade some of it. Dukes, he little road dog. I don't even get a chance to holler at him and tell him I'm gone. Probably won't ever see him again. I gave him my best. I mean, it's over with. I'm gone. This is it. Well, I hope I left some good stuff in his mind. Hope I made a difference in his life. Hope he can muster up the strength and the wisdom and energy. Just do the right thing and don't fall to the wayside. Hopefully everything work out for him.
Across camp, Elgin Tracy is now working the night shift at Hayes. His 40-minute commute gives him time enough to wonder what the evening has in store.
Shirt on. Put your shirt on. Hey, put your shirt on!
Tracy's aggressive style has given him a bad reputation among the inmates. And on Fridays, when inmates break the rules with homemade alcohol and gambling, the mood is confrontational.
You say that's an LOP?
It is LOP.
Show me that in LOP.
I don't need to show you. It is. I'm probably one of the most hated officers, you know, because I do my job and I ain't scared to do it.
You know, tell them to remove the sheet from the table. They got mad. So what? They did it. When they get out of line, you know, that's when you have to drop the hammer. You know, you can't back down. You can't ever back down.
Tracy had a wrong demeanor from the start. He want to play the hard role. He want to play the tough guy. It's not going to happen. He going to be broke down. Every guy, every inmate, every convict ain't going to buy it. They ain't going to buy it, you know, and they going to make him pay for it.
You're in a prison. These guys got life without. What they got to lose? I can lose everything. But when you come in here, you sort of got to act like a man with nothing to lose. And that keep you alive, in my opinion.
It is the mental challenges that make the job of a corrections officer one of the toughest around. 1/3 don't make it past their first year. Just 3 months after he began, Tracy stopped showing up for his shift. Another casualty of the Hayes State chain gang. Rodriguez Dukes is out of the SMU and into one of the toughest dorms at Hayes, D2. He is now fully involved in the gambling and prison politics he had a chance to steer clear of. And Stephen Crane, he's waiting, but also reconsidering his tactics. He's put in for a transfer. Crane learned another lesson about the ropes here at Hayes. If you can't beat them, get out. Crane may be leaving just in time.
Stay right here and face the wall for me. Stay right here and face the wall for me.
Hayes State is in transition, and the tests here are getting rougher. New inmates are transferring in from aging prisons that are closing down. Many are lifelong convicts with nothing to lose. Keeping control at Hayes is getting that much harder.